When I first started my journey as a creator, there weren't really many people to ask about the world of content creation. But now I'm on the other side of things, and that's why I'm here. As a content creator with over a decade of experience, and as a content creator who has been self-employed for the last 3 years doing content creation full-time, I asked you all to submit your questions to me here on YouTube and over on Instagram, which you did. And today I'm going to answer these questions to help give you some clarity and help you on your content creation journey. But first, I need a matcha, so let's go to my kitchen and we'll answer question number 1. Welcome to my kitchen. Okay, so first question today is, if you were to start over today, which platform would you focus on first, and then which platform would you focus on second? I like this question a lot because I feel like from the time I started out creating content to now, there is a lot that has changed. I think, though, that this will vary depending on what your actual goals are as a content creator. I think if you had asked me back in 2012 what my goals were, it would be to work with a bunch of brands, which is still something that I do love doing. I love the concept of working with a brand from start to finish on a project and seeing the final result and storytelling and collaboration. But I would say that my current goal as a content creator is to have a lot of creative freedom, to be able to produce and focus on quality of content more than quantity of content, and to also be able to take breaks when I want and have a more flexible schedule. Just gotta whisk the matcha. If my goal is to be less overwhelmed and be able to take breaks, I would definitely want to incorporate some passive income streams into whatever platform that is. But I also really want to come back to the quality over quantity aspect. So if I were to start over today based on that, the platform that I would prioritize is absolutely YouTube. With YouTube, I'm able to monetize through the YouTube Partner Program, which is actually a question that's going to be later in this video. So we'll come back to a question about qualifying for the YouTube Partner Program. But I can also monetize through affiliate links, promoting my own digital products and services, and also brand partnerships if I want to and if they want to. The fact that YouTube alone gives me access to 4 different income streams, I'll even throw in 5 if you count memberships, which I don't have any plans to start a YouTube membership, but that is an option on this platform that you can utilize. It's just really hard to beat. And I really do believe that YouTube is a platform that snowballs over time, especially as you start to accumulate watch hours and have people return to your channel time and time again. Now, in terms of what I would do after YouTube, probably for me still right now, I would go to Instagram next. I would like to be able to not say Instagram as the next platform because I do feel like it is the one that is notoriously harder to grow on and changes up how it operates so often. But at the end of the day, Instagram is truly like the modern day business card. If I meet new people at an event, they ask for my Instagram. They don't ask for a business card or my email even. And when it comes to further connecting with my community, I love comments on YouTube and I always try to reply to as many as I possibly can. But Instagram DMs and comments are just so much more accessible to me. So I think because of the community factor, because of the digital portfolio factor, and also because, again, I do love working with brands and they typically are a large income stream for me, that is the platform that I feel like brands are most used to advertising on and that they're most comfortable collaborating with creators on, compared to something like TikTok that is still relatively new compared to how long Instagram's been around. However, if I wanted something that was not as much work as maintaining an active presence on Instagram, which I actually do think is kind of hard to do, I would either supplement my YouTube channel with a blog where I would use AI to transcribe my YouTube videos and help me repurpose them into blog posts, or I would use Pinterest to further drive traffic to my YouTube channel. Okay, I just need to get some ice for this. Okay, question number 2. I've just started my content creation journey and was wondering what beginners can do to come under the brand spotlight. I think the first thing to understand is that if you're new to content creation, it's not going to happen overnight. I started my blog in 2012 and I didn't do a paid brand partnership for 4 years. It wasn't until 2016 that I actually got paid by a brand. And I don't even think I was really receiving much PR or anything before that. So I think the first thing to understand is that it will take a little bit of time. And then I think the second thing to ask yourself is, what is your goal when it comes to wanting to connect with brands? Do you genuinely just want to get connected and say hi, start receiving email blasts, and learn about what they're working on currently? Or do you want to get on their PR list to potentially receive products to incorporate into your content and review for your audience? Or do you ultimately want to get paid by brands and work with them in that type of collaboration capacity? The first and easiest thing that you can do is tag brands in your content. This is such an easy way to show them that you're incorporating their products or products like theirs into your content, and that you're a creator and you're actively posting and building up your digital portfolio. You can even take things a step further and DM a piece of content to a brand, especially if you're wanting to tell them like, hey, Chamberlain Coffee, I just featured your matcha in my Instagram story, wanted to make sure you saw it and knew how much I love the matcha powder. But again, to be totally honest, I do feel like the best thing you can do is consistently show up, talk about the products that you love from a particular brand, and tag them in it to let them know that you're thinking about them. That is probably the easiest entry point if you're a beginner, and if you want more specific tips about that, I will link a video I did a few years ago down below about how to get brands to notice you on Instagram. Okay, the next question I received on YouTube is, would love to know more about how to convert gifted collaborations into paid ones, because I'm really struggling a lot at the moment. Love your channel. Thanks so much for your advice on creator topics. I said thanks also. And then they wrote back to me and expanded and said, I'm a nano influencer, about 2,000 followers on Instagram. Brands just always suggest gifted collabs and never write back when you ask for money, even if they really liked content you made for a gifted collaboration, because the products don't cost much to send out. Hope you can help in any way you can. So to start out, and I feel like my audience pretty much understands this, but I do think it's kind of worth mentioning that, and I don't mean for this to sound mean, just because you create content doesn't necessarily mean that a brand will want to pay you for that content. And what I mean by that is, when a brand is hiring a creator for a paid partnership, we have to remember that there are likely specific goals in mind for them. And biggest goal, usually, even if they say that that's the goal or not, is going to be conversions and understanding how much potential revenue could we drive if we do partner with a creator on a collaboration. I think if I were a brand, like let's just pretend for a minute that I am a brand and I have a makeup line that I've created all by myself from scratch, and I really want to work with influencers to start to promote my products. My biggest fear as a business owner would be that I would spend money on a content creator, we would do this partnership, and then I would not get any money back from the money I invested in them, if that makes sense. And this is a totally valid concern, especially for small businesses. Bigger corporations, like, the L'Oreals of the world, if we're talking beauty, of course, they're going to have more money to spend on content creators, but even they want to understand why this creator, like, what are we getting out of it? So that's why I think it's always important from the beginning to ask a brand if you're interested in working together, if they indicate they might be interested, what is your goal right now working with influencers? And if it's sales, I struggle with this still sometimes too as a micro influencer. We can't guarantee sales when we create content. Our job is to market the products, and if the brand can help us in any way by resharing our content on their feed or putting ad dollars behind it so it gets in front of more people, that's obviously helpful. But if it's just a matter of me posting something and a brand thinking that 100 people are going to buy a lipstick that I posted, I don't have any way to guarantee that conversion, even if I'm pretty confident I'm going to make a great piece of content and do everything in my power to encourage people to click through and learn more and check out what I'm talking about. So if I were a brand, what I would really want to see from a content creator is anything that shows that I might see a return on my investment of paying you to create content. So for that reason, I believe that analytics are a creator's best friend. If you have 2,000 followers on Instagram, but you get a lot of link clicks on your Instagram stories when you link your products, send those to the brand and say, usually when I post a product, I get this many clicks. And, if the average conversion rate is 3%, which might be a little lower even on social media versus just online shopping, that could mean that this percentage of my audience would get over to the website. And then potentially, if everything is working well on their website and it's easy to navigate and they understand what they're looking at, then I feel like once you get people to the website, it's the brand's responsibility, if that makes sense. The more data and information you can share with a brand, both quantitative, like link clicks, as well as qualitative, like did you get 10 really enthusiastic comments about an organic piece of content you created or a gifted piece of content you created, like send those to the brand. And if you want to send them to the brand in an extremely professional way, definitely go check out my campaign wrap-up templates. I sell them on my website, and this is what I use every single time I do a partnership with a brand to share my analytics and also to spotlight some of the comments and DMs that maybe they wouldn't see if they were just looking at the numbers. I also always say too, when we're talking about pitching, make it easy for them to say yes. And if they have analytics and they can see where they will get a return, whether it's from a great piece of content they can share on their page and use in paid ads, or whether you actually are going to convert a ton of your loyal followers to purchase one of their products, at least so we think. I mean, that is going to make it so much easier for them to say yes in the first place. So I hope that helps. And again, I know that everyone wants paid brand partnerships, but I also want everyone to remember that, we're in 2024 now at a time where it's more competitive than ever for brand partnerships, and brands have more creators to choose from than ever before too. So if you're not getting as many inbound requests as you thought you would, don't be afraid to reach out and be proactive and connect with brands, but just understand that at the end of the day, no one is owed a paid brand partnership. And also, just because you don't get one now doesn't mean there aren't better ones in your future later on. And if a brand has been stringing you along with gifted for a really long time, then you can also figure out for yourself whether or not that is a brand that's worth kind of continuing to have a relationship with. All right, let's go back. Okay, this next question came from Instagram DMs. Basically, can you reintroduce yourself for those of us who are new here? Hi, I'm Austen. I got started with content creation really in 2012. That's when I got my blog, Keep Calm and Chiffon, which I have had for the last 12 years and which I still update pretty much weekly, which is cool. I grew up in northern New Jersey, about 25 miles from New York City, and it was always my dream to live in New York. I went to Barnard College in New York City and studied art history, which in some ways still weirdly does tie into what I do now, even though I don't, work at a museum. My mom was actually a magazine editor, so growing up, the house was filled with magazines, and that's really what I thought I wanted to do when I graduated. So during college, I got to intern at so many cool publications like Marie Claire, Cosmo.com, Nylon, and New York Magazine. So when I graduated, I got hired at Nylon as the editorial assistant. I was so happy. I even got promoted after a few months to assistant editor, and I worked there for a year and a half before the magazine folded. Luckily, I was only out of work for a month before I got hired at Interview Magazine, which was also a very cool experience in itself. And then that magazine folded only a few months later, so I kind of leaned on my blog and also my skills as a writer and editor, and I was probably making like 60% of my income from freelance writing, but I was really able to supplement that with my blog and social media, so I started taking it much more seriously. This was probably around 2018, 2019 at this point. Then I actually went on to work at a tech startup. They were hiring a beauty content director, which honestly was a job I didn't even know existed, and it sounded like a dream role for me. So I started working there, and all throughout these jobs and college, I was still writing blog posts, posting on Instagram. I had started on TikTok in 2019 at that point too. We all know what happened in 2020, so we became fully remote, and my role in that company changed quite a lot to the point where I really wasn't doing what I was initially excited to do there. So I decided to take the leap in 2021 to pursue content creation full time. Some other random fun facts about me. I'm married. I got married last September to my husband, Andrew, who I've been with since 2017. So he's really seen the full career journey firsthand and been there for every layoff and every twist and turn and byline that's been there along the way. So Andrew's the best. We love him. I am turning 30 in a few weeks. I am a Virgo, September 3rd, so mark your calendars. Just kidding. And I'm also an only child, so I feel like growing up, I always just found creative ways to entertain myself, from, making videos to writing in journals to reading. So I've always really loved being creative and just, coming up with fun ideas and making them happen. But if you guys want to hear the full details of the career journey, especially like being a magazine editor in New York City, which I feel like ever since The Devil Wears Prada came out is a big dream job / talking point that I feel like has just changed so much in the last few years. I actually recorded a podcast episode for Create and Consume where I talk in depth about all of that. So that's actually episode 2 of the podcast. I will link it down below in case you want the full backstory as far as my career goes. But yeah, that's a little bit more about me. So thanks for asking, and thanks for being here. Okay, this next question came through YouTube. Do you carry insurance for your business? And they specifically asked about cyber liability and media liability. If so, why do you? If not, why not? So I think this is a great question, and I think because, again, our industry is so new, I feel like this is just a theme in so many of my videos. There really isn't an industry standard for all of this stuff, right? It's not like when you launch your business as a content creator, there are all of these boxes that you must check in order to keep your business running. It's kind of just things that you start to discover along the way and things that you might search for and think, oh, maybe do I need that? Should I have that? So I do think at the end of the day, this will vary from business to business. I think that, I would like to look into both of these personally to see if they are something I should have. I don't currently have either one, but I think before even doing that, something important to look at and make sure you have covered is the separation between your personal assets and your business assets. So I think the first step is to make sure that your business is registered. So I personally am registered as an LLC here in New Jersey. And the reason I did that is because if for some reason anyone ever wants to come after me for something, like for a piece of content I created or something I said, they can only come after the worth of my business. They can't come after my personal assets. So that is the big benefit to registering your business, is to protect all of your personal assets outside of what the total worth and value of your business is. Veronica and I actually speak more about the basic legal setup for an influencer business in a video that we did together last year. So I will link that one in the description box in case you'd like to go watch it and have a lawyer explain it to you. I am very much not a lawyer if I didn't say that already, so please go check out that video for more of a professional opinion on this. And then the only other business insurance that I actually have is Instagram insurance. And I have Instagram insurance through a company called Notch. I will also link them down below. If you want to get Instagram insurance, you can go get a free quote from them. And the reason I like Notch, and actually the reason that I have Notch instead of Meta Verified, is because if you're locked out of your Instagram account, being a Meta Verified member, in theory, Instagram will still somehow be able to help you and you'll have better customer support to get your account back. but with Notch Insurance, I actually would get paid out for every day that I am locked out of my Instagram account, up to a certain dollar amount depending on your policy, and up to, I think, minus 60 days if you're locked out of your account. And again, you can go get your free quote and check it out down below. It might vary from what my policy looks like. For me, Instagram is one of my biggest assets as a business owner. It is one of the top platforms that I'm able to monetize as a creator and make money through. No thanks to Instagram, through my own brand deals and my own work. So that's why it's really important to me to protect that. And then also just other things that are good to keep in mind as a content creator and business owner is to back up your files and any important content that you want to preserve. Again, on the off chance that your Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever account gets suspended, do you still have those raw video files somewhere without text overlay, without logos? For my YouTube channel, for example, I have everything backed up onto a hard drive, but it's also backed up on Google Drive. So if my hard drive gets corrupted or if something goes wrong, I have 2 copies of everything, which is a lot of storage, but is important to me because the YouTube videos are something that takes a lot of time and effort to create. And I really want to make sure that I have copies of everything saved. So those are kind of the first things that I would make sure you have checked off is your business registered? Are you protecting the platforms that are most important to you? And do you have backups of your content? Okay, this next question came to us from YouTube. So I would love to know what advice you would have for a friend wanting to monetize their YouTube channel within 6 to 12 months with 4K watch hours. My subscriber said, I'm over 6K subs, but only have about 1,100 watch hours. I initially started my channel just reposting TikToks to test YouTube, so I know my shorts don't count with those hours. She said she was doing 2 to 3 long videos a week last spring. She dropped down to weekly at the end of last year, and then she just started bi-weekly videos again as she prepares for maternity leave. Congratulations, very exciting. And to pre-schedule those bi-weekly videos through the end of 2024. I would love to have my videos scheduled out through the end of 2024. That sounds amazing. So in short, I would love to hear your thoughts on making videos that get watch hours and views fast. So I actually think that I would like to put together an entire video on this topic. So if you guys have questions related to qualifying for the YouTube Partner Program, please leave them down below. But I'll share my probably most important thought on this now. Just for context, I really started posting on YouTube consistently in June of 2017, and I got monetized through the YouTube Partner Program all through long-form content because we didn't have shorts back then in January of 2019. So it took me about 18 months to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program. So when I first started my channel, I was posting weekly videos, and then around the middle/end of 2018, that was after I got laid off from interview, I do believe that I went up to bi-weekly videos where I would try to do one more sit down or talking to camera style video and one vlog every week. But my content at the time was pretty different from what it is now, just meaning that I was creating content about so many random topics that I'm not surprised it took me 18 months to qualify when I was posting beauty product reviews, fashion hauls, travel videos, life in New York, and content creation tips. I was kind of posting across all of these different niches, and so as a result, I feel like it took a longer time for my watch time to accumulate. That said, there's a lot that I would do differently if I were starting today from scratch. So in terms of watch time specifically, the best tip that I feel like I could share is to create just as much bingeable content as you possibly can. I actually went through and searched the word binge/binging on my YouTube comments, and I'll have Sean pop some of them on the screen. Quite a lot of you actually do binge my videos, which is very cool for me to hear, meaning that you watch one and then you really want to go watch all of the others because you like the style or because you like the way I'm explaining something or because you're getting value from those videos. And it creates almost like that Netflix, you know, like, are you still watching? Hell yeah, I'm still watching. I know I've been here for 6 hours and I'm on my second box of Cheez-Its, but yeah, I'm still watching. It really just creates that continuous snowball of watch hours, even if you can get a few people in the beginning who really start to binge and enjoy your content and don't want to stop watching. So I think that has really been the key to not just accumulating those initial watch hours, which at the time I kind of have to credit to my personality and who I am, because at the time that was the only really consistent thing between all of the videos. It wasn't, you know, editing style or content topics. It was me. That was the consistent factor. So that's actually very nice and reassuring if that's the case. But what I would do now if I were starting from scratch is to find my niche and to create, like, always thinking about what would this person want to watch next, or what would keep someone watching, and create these videos that are all on kind of related topics that all kind of tie back into one another, and that will always give someone something they're excited and interested in watching. I do think those first 30 seconds of a video are pretty key, and I could be doing a lot more probably from an editing perspective in terms of lots of flashy things to keep people watching, but I've just come to realize over the years that's not totally my style. So I just try to keep it a very short intro, like 15-second hook. What are you going to get out of this? Explain why I'm a good person to talk about whatever topic this is, and kind of just get right into the core content of the video. I think watch time really is the key with videos like this. So whatever you think you can do to keep people watching, to say, you know, later on in this video, we're going to talk about this, or keep watching till the end for this reason. All of those little cues are ways that maybe not everyone is going to keep watching, but one person who wasn't going to might now because you just said that. So as my subscriber alluded to in her question, I would not try to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program through Shorts unless you create short form content on TikTok or Instagram that is consistently going viral, like getting 100,000 views or more on most of your videos. The reason for this being two things. Number one, having 1,000 subscribers and 10 million public Shorts views within the last 90 days is the way to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program through Shorts, which is already a really high metric milestone to try to reach. To qualify for the YouTube Partner Program through long-form content, if you're looking at 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, you have 12 months to hit that goal, not 3, which I think is much more realistic. And not only that, but once you're in the YouTube Partner Program, even if you do qualify through Shorts, your ad revenue is just not going to be that substantial because of the nature of short form content. People are going to watch less of your video. Your RPM, or your revenue per 1,000 views, is going to be substantially lower than it would be on a channel where you're creating long form content and earning ad revenue through that. It's just like literally not a contest. And if you want to use YouTube to be part of a sustainable, recurring, consistent income source for you as a creator, you have to go the long form route. You just have to, if you were wondering. And I post one long form video every week and usually at least 2 or 3 shorts every week. So far, 98.3% of my ad revenue from 2024 has come from long form content, not shorts. So that is my argument for trying to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program through long form content. If you have any questions about what I just said that I can answer in that other video, please leave them down below. If you want more creator advice and tips from me, don't forget you can also subscribe to my free weekly email newsletter for content creators. And when you subscribe, you also get the Influencer Launchpad, which is my free guide to having a successful content creator business. If you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in hearing more from a lawyer about the legal setup for your influencer business, be sure to check out the up next recommendation on the screen. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.